talk a lot about as an industry is coming together to make a difference when our voices, our creativity, our storytelling, our money can help to not just talk about the issues, but to truly create the changes that we want to see. And today, I have to tell you, we say that you students are the next generation. You are absolutely the now generation. You are leaders. You are standing up for what matters. You are rallying together. You are making a difference. And I can guarantee that together, we are going to create the changes that we want to see. So thank you so much for being here. There is nothing that we can do to make the pain, the loss, go away. But what we can do is hold hands together with you and help you push forward with your message, with your voices. So we are here for you today. And we are going to talk about that. Before we go into this, I want to read something for you. We did do a tribute to the 17 that were lost. And this was written in memory of the Parkland 17 shooting victims by Lizzie Eden, a Parkland survivor. Beautiful soul after soul is lost. This cannot be our country's cost. I know this is real, but it cannot be true. I wish we could go back and make it undo. We lost 17 angels that night. Yes, 17 angels no longer in sight. But we will continue to fight and persevere and not let us be overrun with fear. Jeff, can you please just introduce yourself and tell us why you created this one video series?
So my name is Jeff Vespa, and I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a celebrity photographer and a film director. And the day that the shooting happened, David Hogg and Cameron Caskey came on TV, and I immediately thought, these kids have it. This is the idea, like, kids can make gun control happen. It was just, the second I saw them, I knew it was possible. So I decided, because I'm a storyteller, that I knew, and I do this for a living, that I knew I could come and help these kids and make a difference. So very quickly I went to it turned out I have some friends, Jen Golden, who lives in Parkland. I didn't know that. And she's like, you can come and I can help introduce you to people, and Wendy Zipes as well. Both of them helped me immensely to connect with the kids in Parkland. So within a week and a half of the shooting, I was in Parkland and I was doing these videos, the What If videos. And literally, again, less than 2 weeks since the shooting happened, we posted the first video, and in 24 hours it got 6 million views. So we knew we were onto something right away, and so we did a series of them. As you saw, the tagline was for the march. So we basically did one almost every day from the time I got down there until the march. It was about 20 of them or something. And each one was getting hundreds of thousands of views and getting all over the place. And then we did the one with David Hogg, which the NRA lost their mind. And they were doing videos to respond to it and all this stuff. So the point that, and this is why I'm happy the people in this room, no one asked me to do this. No one paid for me to do this. I did this all on my own. I was inspired by these kids, and luckily I had the access. And that's the problem, I think. I think a lot of people might have the impetus to want to do something like this, but just don't have the access. I got lucky, I haven't had the access. So I'm here to say, okay, we can connect now. I can connect you to these kids. That's why I brought them here today. So I can say, this is what we need. Because the biggest issue, and this is, I think, the reason why I was also successful with these kids, is I knew, again, when I saw them speaking, that it's not about me. It's not about what I care about. It's not about what my views are. I'm just a tool for these kids, and that's exactly what I told them when I came. I'm here to help you. I get it. You're the forefront. We're in the background. I don't care about. It's not about me. It's about what you want. And so that is very important because a couple of days after I came home, I went to a Brady campaign meeting, and they're incredible. I love the Brady campaign, but immediately they were like, oh, we could do this and we could do that. And I was like, no, you don't get it. Like, it's not what we can do. They already know what they want to do, and we just need to support them. So it's not us coming up with a bunch of different ideas and a bunch of different hashtags and all the things we think we can do. It's funneling all that energy into one place behind the kids. And again, the problem with that is that people don't know how to connect to them. So now you do. So everyone in this room knows a ton of all the people that are probably interested in getting connected. So it's best to just funnel it directly to these kids and be behind them and work with us. And that's kind of what we're here today to ask, is for your guys' help. And I think this is good for time for David.
And then David Sable, I was talking to, everyone knows David, on the phone, and I said, you know, we need to really tell better stories so that change happens. And then David called me 10 minutes later and said, I wrote something, so I would love for you to share what you wrote.
Yeah, so first of all, I think we're all humbled to be here with you, so it's just amazing. Shelley, thank you for putting this together. And Jeff, so here's the problem, right? Here's what's actually mind-blowing for me, is that none of us in the industry called Jeff. So we live in such an echo chamber of our own creation that we went off and created all kinds of big videos and all kinds of programs and all kinds of social stuff and spent lots of money, and more industry groups than I can count came together because everybody called me and said, oh, you'll be part of our group, you'll be part of our video. And very nice, it all kind of went away, but everybody felt real good. And here's the real story. And we missed it. We totally missed it. And it really hurts me that we missed it. Not one person in our industry called Jeff, including myself. So when we talked about it, what I realized was they have the story. This is the real thing. What do we do? So in this case, they've got this story. But what they need is activation. They need help with the story. So here's the bottom line. I just went back and did what any good planner would do. What's the problem? The real problem is that 90% of the country, according to every poll that's been taken, agrees with them. Like, everybody seems to agree with them. And we can't move the agenda forward. What is wrong with the picture? What is wrong with what we're doing? And that is what we can help do. They don't need the story told. They got the story. What they need is our help to take the story out, to get out of the echo chamber, to stop talking to ourselves. We need to talk to that 90% of the people in the world who actually agree and can move. So this is very simple. Everybody has a copy. Just take it with you. Take it with you. This is just actual, everybody's gonna understand this because it is traditional planner's language. There are issues on which Americans may never agree. How much should government regulate commerce? What works better, tax breaks or direct stimulus? Does life begin at conception? And you know what? That's good, because they're important issues. They should be debated. And then there's an area where it only seems we disagree, but in truth, we all agree. Gun violence. That's right. We actually agree about the most fundamental issues around gun violence. Yes, there are those few who want to confiscate guns and repeal the Second Amendment. And those who would arm every man, woman, child, and pet in America. They are the outliers. The vast majority of us believe in gun rights, but common sense gun rights to keep weapons away from dangerous people, that make kids safe. And overwhelmingly we agree that steps should be taken to meet this objective. That's huge. That's the hard part, and it's already accomplished. Now, let's get down to the long, hard, complicated work of hammering out the details. And let's realize that a problem this complex won't have a solution, but many solutions. But first, let's agree to agree. And my first agree to agree is let's agree that they are the storytellers here. We don't need to go repeat this. We don't need to recreate it. They are the storytellers.
Great, thank you. you guys. So I'd love to now turn to you, the storytellers, but before that, I really do want to thank Jen and Wendy and Jeff for bringing this all together and bringing us all on board to say, yes, whatever it is that we can do for you, we want to do that. So if we could just go down the row, if you can tell me your name and what grade you're in, let's start with that.
Hello, my name is Julia Cordover, and I'm in 12th grade. I'm the senior class president at Stoneman Douglas High School.
Hi, my name is Madison Leal, and I'm 11th grade, and I'm 16 years old.
Hi, I'm Eden Hebron. I'm a freshman, and I'm 15 years old.
Hi, my name is Jaden Beer. I'm a junior, and I'm 17 years old.
Hello, I'm Jared Hellman and I'm 18 years old.
Hi, my name is Sam Zeif. I'm a senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and I'm 18 years old.
Hi, my name is Dylan Kramer. I'm a junior at Stoneman Douglas and I'm 17 years old.
Hello, my name is Maylin Hoshing. I am a junior and I'm 17 and I'm a student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
My name is Brandon Descent. I'm a junior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and I'm 17 years old.
My name is Kai Korver. I'm 17. I'm a junior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
So I read this, oh, okay, good, put it in the middle, and we'll just go. This is how we roll when we make a room much bigger at the last minute. This is something that you collectively have said, and I just want to read this. This change will not be pushed to the side. We will not be another statistic. We will not stop until we see change. So if we could all talk about, what changes you want to see, and if you know you have a group of all of us with the biggest ad agencies in the world, meaning the best storytellers, the best creative voices, media to spend to get the message out there for change, what is it you would like to get us all to help you with?
Okay, well, first off, thank you guys for all being here and listening to us. One of the things I think is important for everyone to know is just to encourage the younger generations to make it out to the polls and to cast their votes. I think that's a lot of things that we definitely take for granted as students, and even the older generations who realize or think that their votes don't mean a lot, but in the end, it's the votes that make the difference. So I think a good way to, on the advertisements and everything, would be to advertise voting and the impact of that.
Just want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today, and like Julia said, I think that voting is a key component that will hopefully stop a tragedy like this from ever happening again. And I also think that universal background checks and getting these weapons of war off the streets would stop a tragedy like this from happening again.
Thank you guys all for coming. For me, I definitely, I think we should get a lot of the stories out for the people that, may have experienced it, to show people that how much of an impact that some of these people have now because of this, and from that, encourage people to think, we don't want this to happen to anybody else. We don't want my kids to have to see this and that, and definitely, due process, universal background checks. I guess we're on agreement here, but definitely making sure that no deranged person or no person with mental issues gets their hands on any kind of firearm.
Okay, so thank you guys all for coming. It means a lot to us. One of the things that I think that really needs to be changed and made sure of is mental illness. It's a big thing now in this country and in this world, and people who are mentally ill really need to be treated, because we lost 17 people who should be here today, and parents, family, friends. Nobody should ever have to go through what's been happening, and it's just something that you can't even describe. And I really think that a thing that is going to make the biggest change is for people to just listen to everyone who was there and to really see how much this impacted us, and to see that we are actually going to be the people to make a change.
So obviously, being here today, I support the mental illness and that we need to have stronger background checks, but also I believe that the weapons used have to be limited. And for example, that could be either magazine limits, not having 25 bullets per magazine, making sure that bump stocks are not sold anywhere, not on Amazon, not on Craigslist, nowhere. Those things turn semi-automatic rifles into automatic rifles. And I just strongly believe that those type of accessories shouldn't be on the street where people can just go online and purchase them.
Thank you everyone for coming. It really means the world to all of us. And what I think is important, being part of Change the Ref, a foundation started by Joaquin Oliver's father, Manuel Oliver, who you might have seen doing paintings all around the country recently. It's important, its main focus is to empower the youth. And that means making sure, like right now, our voices are heard and we have the help that we need. And there's a lot that falls under that. There's laws, there's being together, a common voice, a common goal. And like I said, there's a lot that falls under that. You need to know who to vote for. People need to know who to vote for. There needs to be a simplified way to spread that type of information rather than doing your own research. Because in today's reality, we're lazy. And that's why we're here today, because we were lazy. So we need to simplify candidates, just like the NRA does, give our politicians a rating. And as far as legislation goes, mental health and background checks should have already been in place. Our country has fallen somewhere deep where we've allowed this to become normalized, and it really needs to change. These types of weapons, AR-15s, AK-47s, they're made for mass murder. They're not for protection. I don't understand where the common sense lies that people should be allowed this type of ability, especially as just a regular civilian, forget military personnel or an authorized person. And I'm sure we'll talk about plenty more. Thank you.
The main thing I would like to see is a ban on assault-style rifles and then high-capacity magazines and bump stocks. And we have to vote and inform people about who's taking money from the NRA and who isn't, and just vote out those who are.
I want to thank everybody for coming. It means a lot to us. And whoops. What I would like to say is I understand that a lot of people look at it as look everything as nationally, but as for me, what means it is locally. We've been dealing with gun violence for decades. The Black community and Brown community have been dealing with gun violence on a daily basis, but no one really likes to talk about it, but it's the elephant in the room. And I, and my fellow students also want to bring that out to light, because what happens usually is that we try to focus too much on making a national impact, and then these smaller communities don't get that same, you don't look at it, because I understand that assault weapons is a problem, they shouldn't be on the streets, but handguns are the problems in these communities, and lives are being lost every single day, so.
When speaking about advertising agencies and the media, I believe that those are two components that are very crucial to our movement in terms of shedding light on the issue of gun violence. Because we want, in terms of using the media and the advertising agencies, we want to do kind of like what people did with anti-tobacco campaigns and anti-AIDS campaigns. We want to utilize the media and advertising agencies in the same way in terms of shedding light on the issue.
Okay, and to take a little part of what Brandon over here is saying is that we need to make sure that we are encouraging the public to push forward progressive legislation. And in terms of progressive legislation, I mean that legislation being pushed forward is progressively inclusive of every culture's perspective as it relates to their community and how it hits their home.
Thank you guys for coming. I agree with Maylin 100%. We have to look at it not only in schools, but in communities that deal with it on a daily basis, and communities that have been fighting for this way longer than us. So we need to give them what we have and the platforms that we use on a daily basis so they can share their stories and what they've been fighting for.
So if I asked you for your wish from us, what can we do to amplify your voices, to activate change, to create next step asks? What is that? You know, we talk about voting, you know, we've put shirts together. No, these were actually made out of little bullets. Joan Hornick, the artist here, we've made bracelets. So everyone, please buy them. The money all goes to your community so that we can help. But what is a specific ask that you'd like from us?
I'm going to address this, and you guys can jump in if you think what I'm saying is wrong. Okay. So I've thought about this a lot for everybody. I'm actually going to start really quickly with the inner city stuff because a lot of that doesn't get as much exposure that it needs to get. So I'm from Baltimore, and I grew up where kids were getting shot for their tennis shoes, for like Michael Jordan shoes when they first started coming out. So I've dealt with this my whole life. One of the things that happened after the riots in Baltimore, the New York Times did this incredible story about a neighborhood which I actually lived a few blocks away from when I lived there, and they showed how many abandoned houses were around that neighborhood. And what they said was, in the past, I don't know what it was, let's say 10 years, I don't remember the exact number, that there used to be 17 community centers, now there's one. So there's a lot of statistics that people don't really understand about these communities, that just because there's not 17 community centers anymore, the people don't have anything to do. Kids have nothing to do in the neighborhood, so they get in trouble. Those are the kinds of things that really need to be exposed because it's completely different in the inner city. It's not about laws necessarily, it's actually really about money. It's about putting money into education in those communities. It's about doing community centers in those communities. I mean, I've seen it, I've lived it, I know those neighborhoods. I've seen the bombed out neighborhoods in Baltimore. You go to the, you know, by the harbor and there's billions of dollars of investment, and you go to this neighborhood and there hasn't been a penny spent there in probably 30, 40 years. So these are the kinds of things that are happening that people don't really know about and don't want to think about. So I think that's one thing that we need is to have a focus on those neighborhoods and to actually build some statistics around that and understand what's going on in those neighborhoods so people really expose that, tell that story in a way that hasn't been told. I mean, is that something you guys agree with? Okay.
And let's get some.
So
These guys
okay,
also
all right.
want to-
I'm sorry, just 1 second, just because there's a bunch of, so, the other thing is, as far as these stories, again, connecting to the inner cities, and I think we've talked about this kind of, the idea of going across the country with Parkland students, white and black, to these communities like in Oakland and Baltimore and Detroit, and Chicago, to have their voices amplify the voices of the inner cities as well. Because again, this is a problem that is all across the country, and I think we all need to see that. So really, what we're talking about here is we need funding, number one, to help us continue to do this, for travel, for people's time, and then besides funding, we need help getting this stuff out. So we've been using our own social media, and we've done a very good job, we've gotten millions of views, but we need to start having this on TV. We need money for marketing campaigns to, when we make these videos, to get this to a broader audience. So those are the things that I think are really, really important for us.
So another thing, again, is just keeping it on the media, keeping it on the TV. We don't want to lose this momentum. It's been great, and we just want to make sure that it continues this way. So just showing stories, showing our stories, all the urban communities, making sure that their voices are being heard. And another thing is that we've been getting a lot of hate and everything, and it's not, people don't realize that this is something that we didn't ask for. This tragedy, this shooting just hit us, and this is our job now, is to advocate for gun reform. So just to show the world that we are literally fighting for our lives at this point because no one else is doing it. So I think we just want to keep that message and the point that we're doing what we have to do now to live peacefully in our schools, at our parks, at our concerts, and that it's not just in schools, and that it's at other public events, it's at places that you think that are supposed to be the safest place, right? Like, isn't school supposed to be the safest place? So I just don't understand. It's very frustrating, and we just want to get that frustration out to the rest of the world to show them that they're in danger as well. So, thank you.
And I just want to add that Parkland has been given a platform to speak, and we've all been given a voice to speak our beliefs, but there's so many communities across the country that deal with gun violence on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes their stories are not told, and I think it's important that their stories are told and that they voice how they feel, because there are so many communities that are severely affected by gun violence, and we all have to come together to make a solution.
Just to add, I want to say, like, definitely a lot of the people who really did experience this terribly, and I know, like, for example, I shared one of my stories, and I get people saying, because I saw this, now I realize how painful that it is, and I'm going to go put this as my primary address to go and vote. And I think a lot of our stories do need to be told, and I don't think that, you know, it shouldn't, definitely, our story should not be dying down soon. We need to, as Julia said, we need to keep this going, and we need to make sure that people realize the pain this has caused us, and it has the potential to bring pain to your community too, and we need to put a stop to it now.
My wish from this is just for nobody to start moving on quickly or ever, because nothing like this should ever happen again. I just want everyone to remember and actually make a change out of it, and not just say, I'm sorry this happened. Like, I want something to really come out of this, because something like this, it shouldn't have happened. Like, I go to bed thinking of it every night. I wake up in the middle of the night, that's what I think about. I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing I think about, and it's not gonna go away. And I know that people around me who didn't actually experience the event, like, they don't understand it as much, but when you really experience something like this, it never, like, nothing will ever feel the same, and I just want to make a change for the people that it affected, and I really think that we're going to, because we're determined to.
So, something I believe that we should take away from all this is that it can really happen anywhere and any time. Before this, I remember hearing the word Columbine and Sandy Hook and Virginia Tech and Aurora, and you hear these horrible events happen in your country, and you can't even comprehend it because you haven't experienced it. And the thing that makes us different is now we've experienced it. And it's hard to give people that experience so that they can be as passionate as we are about such a thing. And I'm going to share one of the experiences I had at Washington, D.C. And since this is all about media and getting our word out, the March for Our Lives in Washington, D.C. was widely televised and widely covered. There must have been millions of people watching that. And I had the privilege to be next to Joaquin Oliver's father during Jennifer Hudson singing, and my best friend Sam Seif held up Change the Ref shirt, and I was right on the camera, and I'll never forget seeing Joaquin's dad dancing, jumping up, screaming, crying, because his shirt, his idea that he was so passionate about because he lost his son when he went to school was in the eyes of millions. And that's something that is really hard to do nowadays. It's hard to get that many people to watch something. And I believe that if we want to have more people in tune with what we're doing, we need more events like a March for Our Lives. Although what happened in DC wasn't necessarily a march, it was more of a rally, it still got the coverage we needed, and everyone across, not even the country, but the world. There were marches and rallies in almost every country, every continent. And I believe that if we work together, we'll get this done and we'll change it.
It's hard to personally, from your perspective, it's hard to get involved with a cause like this, that's something so meaningful and powerful when you haven't felt it, what we have felt. Personally, I'm here for a couple reasons. People. I'm here for Joaquin Oliver and his father. But I'm also here for my two little brothers, one who has to go to school for at least 4 more years and another who has to go to school for at least 6. And then when they go to the park after school, and then when they go to the beach when they're older, and when they're any time in public. We need to empower the youth. Change the Ref is about empowering us to save the country, really, to actually make America great again. And yeah. And what comes with that is changing the ref himself in Washington, D.C. There's somebody making calls in favor of another team for money. The NRA, it's their job to push their views on our politicians. It's their job to do what they've been doing. And that's why it's hard to really blame this on them. But it's our politicians' job to make the right calls for our country, no matter what it costs. Why don't we focus on voting on people instead of saving money, expending money to save lives? Thank you.
I would just like to keep it in the light, like keep getting a platform to tell our stories and get our stories out, because they're really impactful and people need to hear them. And more people hear them, they like understand it more, I think. So as long as we have a platform to tell, what we saw and our story, then that's the main thing. It just needs to keep being in the light, and people need to hear about it. So.
What I feel like would help is if we share the mic. We're only experts of February 14th and 4th period that day. But that's someone else's reality on a normal basis. So, I appreciate seeing our faces on TV, but we don't have to deal with this on a normal basis from, the communities that we come from. And it's just the honest truth. And that's why I feel like this needs to be shed light on these communities. And I was in the same room as Sam was in the freshman building that day, and something as simple as a lock saving our lives. In other communities, their locks are busted in and their gates are busted open, and people can jump in and out of their school campus as they please, that people that don't even attend their school. And that's something that needs to be talked about, because we had an active shooter conversation and protocols. And when people ask me, the people that I'm raised with, church family, how did you know to turn off the lights? How did you know to hide in this corner? Well, we had a protocol. What does that look like? I've never had a protocol for that. What if that happened to our school? So I feel like we need, when it comes to safety, that all schools need to have equal safety. If we're going to get stronger gates, all schools need to have stronger gates. If we're going to have new locks, all schools need to have locks. If we're going to have bulletproof windows, all schools need to have bulletproof windows. No one should be left out of this.
What I want to see is for brilliant, creative people such as yourselves to sit down and to come up with new ways to shed light on all the different angles of the issue. Because in the media, you've seen people talk about a few things like focusing on voting, gun control, and that's pretty much it. I want to hear more solutions. More ideas, such as what about conflict resolution? That's like one of the roots of the problem. I'd say it's as important, or if not more important, than guns. Okay, guns friends play basically the biggest factor in this issue. I think conflict resolution, teaching our kids how to focus, all this built up aggression and anger into something, beautiful. It's a passion to focus your hate and anger on into something like passion or a love for something like sport, art, poetry. So I want to see, people, shedding light on all the different colors of the spectrum.
I want all of us here to realize that each and every last one of us sitting here today knows what it feels like to send their parents what might be their last words. And for us, that was a one-time thing. We hope that it will never happen again. For people in Black and brown communities and just impoverished communities in general, that's a reality on a daily basis. And these people feel like they don't have a voice, because their voice is always ignored, they're downtrodden, they don't know what to do. The media has never listened to them. So I feel like it's our job as the leaders of this movement to infuse these communities with resources and teach these people that they can stand up because someone will listen. We need to give these people back their voice. We need to teach people that every life matters, no matter where you're from or who you are. Thank you.
I just hope for everyone to be heard. I don't want only Parkland students, just their stories to be heard on TV and on the internet. I feel like everybody that deals with this, regardless if it was just one day or every day, I feel like everyone deserves to have their voice and their stories heard. And I also just want this to never happen again, regardless if it's a school shooting or a church or a nightclub or even in the street. I feel like it should never happen again. And it's continuing to happen every day. Every time when I go on Twitter, I see another police shoots a Black student or a Black kid, or another school shooting, something in Maryland just happened, or YouTube headquarters. Nothing's changing, and we need it change now, because this is just going to continue to happen, and we're just going to keep talking about it, and nobody's really going to do anything, and we actually need real change.
Thank you, March, by the way. It was great. So I just want to show one last video of Kai Korber. So the videos that I showed at the beginning were what we did before the march. So this is the new campaign that we're doing after the march. I'm going to tee that up right now.
While Jeff is teeing that up, I really just want you all to know that your voices are heard. We are all together. I would love for all of us to stand up, please. Hold hands. Let's close the circle and show that we are all in this together. And I want you all to feel the energy that we have. And this, we are so fortunate to have an industry that will work together to make a difference. And we are all here with you. Close the circle. Someone hold Jeff's hands. So thank you all for listening, for hearing, for using your power for change. Each and every one of us has responsibility.
Imagine a world where instead of detention, you had meditation. Instead of getting suspended with nothing to do, you had counseling. Imagine a world where schools are not allowed to issue misdemeanors to terrorize the student body. A world where a child does not have to fear that his first day at school might be his last day on earth. What if none of this happened? Where would we be then? What if we never had to worry about dying in a school, a concert, or a church? What if you helped to make a change?
Okay, we have all the students that'll be going up into the girls' lounge to have dinner before you go back. In the meantime, because we don't want to hold up the rest of the day, thank you to Marlon the Forays for bringing us together here. Thank you so much. We did talk about this being something that all of us need to be involved with. So if anyone has a quick question, we could probably take 2 questions. Are you good with questions? Okay, so 2 quick questions, and then we're gonna
Thank you guys. Since we have so many people in the room, what can we do right now to help you guys? Where do we go donate money? What can we do right now before we leave the room? Is there something we can do?
Sorry, is it okay if I take this? Okay. So what I want to do is kind of the things that we're talking about. I mean, doing this videos, continuing the video series with these kids, you know, maybe this potential voting, you know, website, this kind of stuff. So I would say the best way to do it, you or me? You? Okay. I think the best way to do it is everybody contact Shelley, because you guys are already connected to Shelley. And anything that you're interested in doing, Shelley will connect you to me, and then we can discuss it, and then as a group we can all figure out what we need and what we want. But I think the best thing to do is just to say, okay, this is what I have, or this is what I feel like I can do, and tell Shelley, and we'll just make a big list, and then we'll all be connected and we can figure it out that way.
The answer simply is yes, we need money, just to be honest, because there's so much stories that we need to tell to be able to get it to all the schools and to say no to guns and make that happen. So yes, we need money. I didn't even know about Parkland, and now, you know, what you are doing is the most important aspect of what we can do to make change. So yes, let's discuss, and we can continue the videos, the series that, you know, Jeff has started, which I think is so important.
Sorry, one more thing. You can go buy these shirts or bracelets in the back just as a reminder before you leave the room.
Here's the bracelets, everybody buy one and buy a shirt. But the other thing I was saying, well, I'm going to challenge you and everybody else in the room. So in Agree to Agree, you and Lisa are going to get together.
Ad council. Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Ad council and 4A's will put it on the paper. Because besides the money to finish this, we need media.
Board meeting is April 18th. I put it on the agenda. Let's talk about it.
Done. I'm done.
I'll be there if you want to invite me.
I don't have every right answer for you, for any of you, but personally what I know myself is that you can go on changetheref.org and read about Joaquin's story and his father and what they're doing and what they've been trying to do and what they're going to do. And there's plenty of places to donate, but that's just one that personally I can think of off the top of my head. Anybody?
Also, the database for quality candidates. Nowadays it's so hard to research who's running for office and to know what they're for and what they're against. So whether there's someone already pursuing a way to do it or not, I really believe either find the person pursuing it and help fund them maybe, or start your own.
I think like as something so easy that we can start with now, if you guys, you know, maybe don't want to donate money or whatever, I think the most important thing right now is to communicate and educate and share with as many people as you know. I think between all of us, I think we can get the message out there that we need these things, and not just for us, we need it for every single community in America, because I know for me, I don't want anyone else to have to see the things that I saw, and I don't want any other community to have to go through that. So, I mean, I know people are still already like forgetting about this, and we can't let this die down. So we need all of you, I guess, to share the message with whoever you can.
And I just want to add that a few friends of mine and I created an inspirational organization called Branches of Bravery, and our long-term goal is to plant trees in communities that have been affected by gun violence across the country. And right now we're working on planting a tree at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in honor of the 17. And we want to inspire communities to be the change that they wish to see in the world, because I know that all of us were the change that we want to see right now.
Donate 1,000 trees. So you can put us in for 1,000 trees. Any?
Change the Ref will be doing a database, by the way, as a spokesperson, a database for who to vote for and who not to. Yeah, just remember.
fun though.
I just wanted to say that I'm actually starting an organization with Reverend Mike Bernard Beckwith, who works with Oprah, to actually institute a mental health care curriculum system in schools, starting from K through 12 and it varies between grades, obviously. So look out for that. It's going to be called the Societal Reform Association, SRA for short.
Also, there will be a rally next weekend in Virginia at the NRA headquarters. I'm working with the Brady campaign for that, so if you can participate in that anyway, that would be very much needed. And on June 2nd in New York at the Trump Towers, I'll be participating at a rally for Youth Over Guns, for just urban communities to give them another platform. So if you guys can help out with that in any way, do your research, tweet about it, go on social media, that would be very much needed.
I think, Jeff, hold on. I think what we are going to do, listening to all the amazing, initiatives that you're creating, is I will collect all that from you. We'll put it up on our website so that everyone will see everything in one place to be able to contribute to all of them. So after this, we will put that together. In the meantime, Jen is going to, wait, take this. This is Jen.
Hi. I just wanted to say one thing, as simple as finding the videos that these kids have already done on social media and getting them out to all your people and encouraging their people to get them to their people, to their people, to their people, because their words have been so powerful. They shot them in my house. I cried for days, and they will get the message across if we all help them just get their words out.
So, just to amplify what she said, and this is the driving force of what I've thought the entire time I've been doing this. This is something I want you to think about and remember. I went to Parkland because of the kids' voices, right? David Hall, Cameron Cassidy, Emma, they struck me, they inspired me. So every time I think, what am I supposed to be doing? All I think is, it's the kids' voices, it's the kids' voices, it's the kids' voices. It's not what I want, it's not what I think, it's not what I care about. It's the kids' voices. So everything boils down to that. And that's where the storytelling starts too. Any story starts with their voice. It's all about their voice. So what we need to do is amplify them. That's what this is all about.
One of the things that we always say is, tell me a fact, I may not remember it. Maya Angelou, tell me a story, I will remember it forever. How we feel is what makes the biggest difference. And we can not even imagine what you must be feeling, but those feelings come through loud and clear, which is why I think you were able to create this movement for change so quickly, because it's just, so real and heartfelt. I think there was just one more comment, and then I promise Marla we've got to.
Just really quick for donations, is there a GoFundMe page or a Venmo account that we can immediately whip out our phones and just give to you guys?
So,
do you need help setting one up?
Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna organize that very quickly so that you can. So we'll come back to you with that. Marla will help us put that together. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you everyone for taking the time.